Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Alright, guys, I love that Isle of Man stuff. It's insane. This seems like it's going to be much more safe, considering they are not on a motorcycle in front of, along thousands of pedestrians, and that, I mean, it's still going to be extremely dangerous, but hope you're all doing well. Let's get right into it. The rules of Formula 1, F1 explained. Go. My name's Connor, if you're new, by the way. Original link to the video, top of the description below. This is my second channel, Mr. McJibbin. My first channel, McJibbin. Kind of sister channels. Don't want to rank one above the other, even though my main channel is kind of favorite child. Where I do mostly history stuff there, but in order to separate the two, I made this channel. I love watching this stuff too. Sports, mostly stuff that's not so much popular in America. So love you to join both channels. Subscribe. Helps out a lot. My phone is dinging. Let's go.
Nin explains the rules of Formula 1.
Okay.
The object of the race is to be the first to cross the finish line after completing a certain number of laps around a track. Formula 1, more commonly known as F1, is the most popular auto racing sport in the world and is the highest level of single-seat car racing. F1 is contested in varying number of races throughout a calendar year, and each race is known as a Grand Prix. Drivers will drive a specially designed race car that is designed to go around a racetrack in as fast a time as possible. There are 3 parts to any race.
Can I just say what I love? I'll try not to pause so much. How they're engineered.
Drivers will drive a specially designed race car that is designed to go around a racetrack.
Right here, imagine a normal car. That was much more top heavy, going at this speed and making this turn.
As fast a time as possible. There are 3.
I mean, it would flip over, but this car just goes.
Parts to any race. Practice. Most commonly held on a Friday, practice is where drivers can test their cars on the racetrack. This is valuable to determine how the car will run given the weather and environment, and also to get the driver used to the track. Qualifying. To determine which position each driver starts in the race, each driver will complete laps of the track on their own. The fastest driver will start the race on the grid in the first position, the second fastest in the second position, etc.
Just want to get a question in. What's the kind of racing? Is it the same thing where they go through actual, dense inner cities and they do these races? I know I've seen those on TV or something.
Until all the drivers are assigned a position to start the race. This is known as qualifying and is usually held on a Saturday, the day before the actual race. The race. Once qualifying has determined the order where the drivers start, the actual race is usually held on a Sunday. Drivers will do one warm-up.
So I gotta shut up.
Once qualifying has determined the order where the drivers start, the actual race is usually held on a Sunday. Drivers will do one warm-up lap and then line up in the position that they will start as determined by qualifying.
So they'll all do a warm-up lap together and then get in their spaces?
Once all the lights goes out, the race begins. Drivers have to complete a predetermined number of laps for a total distance of 305 kilometers, or 260 for Monaco. The driver who
What's that in miles?
Crosses the line first after all the laps have been completed wins. Drivers get points for the position that they finish, and the driver with the most points after all the Grand Prix have been contested is crowned the world champion. It's honestly that simple, but there's a few other things that you'll need to know before going to or watching a race. For example, track. Each Grand Prix track is totally different to another.
It's like a golf course.
And all of them are contested in a different country. This means that teams and drivers have to prepare and set up their cars for the environment. From the sweltering heat of Abu Dhabi, to the cold and rain of England, to the humid night race of Singapore, and the world's most famous street race, Monaco. Drivers will usually memorize
I love that. It's like different golf courses. But what just blows my mind most and why I love most watching these videos, not just racing videos, but this kind of racing with these cars, is just how well engineered they are to be very bottom heavy, obviously aerodynamic, and large wheels that they can just go turn so quickly, and it just looks like it has no real stress on the car. Like they can be going 100 miles an hour and just do like a quick turn this way, and in any other car, that car would just the axle might break, or it would just tumble and tumble and tumble. And this is just, I love how they're engineered to. I'm curious how much they weigh, and like how thick those tires are. I just love how they can just go in different. What was that sound effect? Just in it like that. I hope you get what I mean.
Every turn for every track, so that they perform better when they actually race. Tires. Each team has access to different types of tires. The softer the tire, the more grip you have, but the quicker they wear out. The harder the tire, the longer they last, but they have less grip. Depending on the weather and the track conditions.
Would you go faster in an open stretch though with a hard tire? Might not do as well on turns.
Determines which tires the teams should use. Using the wrong tire at the wrong, but they have less grip. Depending on the weather and the track conditions, determines which tires the teams should use. Using the wrong tire at the wrong time could cost you the race, and sometimes worse.
I love how there's so much to it you wouldn't expect.
Cars are allowed to go back to their own team's garage or pit to change tires or refuel. This is known as a pit stop, and teams are so fast at changing 4 tires and adding fuel that this can be done in around 3 seconds.
Look at that.
A team is allowed as many pit stops.
They must have some tool that tool wrench that screws all the bolts at one time. Maybe they have one super strong bolt.
As they've done in around 3 seconds. A team is allowed as many pit stops as they like, but this adds time to your race and could cost you valuable positions.
Of course.
Penalty. Should you break one of the rules, a penalty may be issued against you depending on the severity of the rule
you cut the course.
This
I do that in Mario Kart all the time.
As time added to your total time to complete the race, known as a drive-through penalty, docking you starting positions on the grid to start the race, or more severe penalties such as penalising you for future races or excluding you from any further Grand Prix. Flags. During a race, marshals will use flags to indicate things to drivers.
Old Spanish flag.
I'm not going to cover every single flag, but the most common are a green flag. This is used to start or restart a race. Yellow flag. This is to tell the driver to slow down due to a hazard or accident. Red flag. This is an instruction for the drivers to either stop or return to the pit lanes due to danger on the track.
So I'm sure that's pretty rare.
This is an instruction to let the car behind overtake you.
I was going to say, blue is such a strange color for anything, driving. I hope that makes sense. If I saw a blue, I'd be like, whoa, what does blue mean?
Checkered flag. This is the famous flag that denotes the end of the race.
Of course.
Constructors Championship. Constructors, or teams, are allowed to field 2 drivers in a race.
Whoa, I didn't know that was animated.
The points for every team's drivers are added up, and the team with the most amount of points at the end of the season will win the Constructors Championship.
Interesting.
I could talk more about engines, chassis, ERS, DRS, aerodynamic body parts, but these change almost every year, and the points I've talked about are the most salient points for a beginner to understand. If you found this video at all helpful, please be sure to like, share and subscribe. It takes me ages to make one of these things, and good karma is very much appreciated. Be sure to follow me on Twitter also, but in the meantime, enjoy Formula 1.
I wonder how, great channel, by the way, great video. I wonder, if you try this, not someone in the car, obviously, robotically driven in a very open, like a airport runway, just go at top speed with one of those cars and turn as quickly as you can and see if that even makes it tumble over or if it's just tumble proof. Great video. See you next time, guys.